I've got the last, I did the cast on and then I'm knitting one row. And there is no stitch, and this is the old Norwegian German short row, and trying to find a stitch below that one to put the tip in I think would be really, really difficult. I don't know what the Italian twisted is like. So for me, I am doing one row of stockinette, and that gives me a jump off row for what we're doing here. Okay, so here we are. I'm at the end of my prep for my neck, and stitch marker. I've got some stitch markers here to use. Okay, so slip the neck edge stitch, knit one, holy smoke, knit one, place my shoulder marker, then I'm going to knit one, and also doing the lifted increase would be hard on the cast on, so that's probably another good reason to do that extra row. You'll have to test and see what you get. So there's my first shoulder increase. Then I'm going to, because you are wanting a fairly good drop before you start your turn, I'm going to do a buried wrap and turn. I'm putting my needle in the stitch below. You can do this however you want. I don't want that stitch twisted behind. Anyway, I want it as smooth as I can get it, so that's why I picked it up that way, so I didn't have to turn it. And then I just pull it, and it'll bury itself right down behind the purl bump, and it vanishes. The first one on this, you want your turns as close together as you can get. The first one, I would say don't knit anything between your first shoulder stitch, your shoulder increase, and the turn. I would say don't, because you want to start your drop as fast as you can, and you want as clean as edge as you can. So I'm knitting to the shoulder marker, slip the marker. I'm going to do a lifted increase here. I'm going to knit the edge stitch and slip the edge stitch. I'm going to have terrible tension if I keep holding my yarn like that. So I'm going to knit to the shoulder marker. Now don't start your front edge increase for the fading saddle until you've got a fairly decent drop. I would say between 2 and 3 inches. So watch this. You're not going to do an increase there. Slip the shoulder marker, knit one, increase, now this is the last this is the increase from the right side row before, so I'm going to knit that. This is my turn. I'm going to slip my turn. You're going to want the leading leg and back, so I'm slipping it to get the leading leg and back into the stitch below. Just put that over the top of the original stitch. You're going to want to slip this, pick up that yarn that goes between the stitches, knit it, and slip this over the top, and that's going to give you that invisible flat smooth turn where it goes from 0 to 1 to 2. knit to the shoulder marker, knit 1, increase, knit to the front edge stitch, split that baby, knit the front edge stitch. Now we might have enough stitches now to start the back saddle. Well, I wasn't really paying attention the last row. Knit to the shoulder, slip the front edge stitch, knit to the shoulder marker, knit 1, increase. Now the first back saddle increase, you want to make sure you have clean stitches to make it on, and I may not. I think my turn is right here, so that only gives me 4, because this is the one I did. Well, it might work. Let's see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We might be able to get it. Okay, I'm going to set my marker here. This is my back shoulder marker, or my saddle increase shoulder marker. So there's where I would increase right there. I think I can. So you're probably going to do two sets of rows, down and back, before you can set your back marker. This is the stitch I turned in last time, so I'm going to slip it with leading leg in back, and this is the one I'm going to turn in through the stitch below, and I'm going to set it over the top of the, there we go. I always snug that up a little bit. If it has a tendency to be loose, it might leave a hole. This is the one we increased in, so I can't. Oh, nope, we slipped it. Okay, good deal. We slipped that. We want to go through the float. That's the float that we created when we slipped that stitch. So that's done. Okay, now this is the back saddle marker. We want to slip it. So what I do is I just pop it off the needle, knit that stitch, and pop it back on the needle. And then it is 4 stitches from the shoulder. You see how that marker is now 4 stitches from the shoulder? So when we come back and we do the increase here, it is automatically 5 stitches from the shoulder, and we can do the increase. If you like counting, I'm usually doing, 2 things at once, listening to my husband and listening to a book on tape and knitting. So I like to mark things. Knit to the shoulder marker, slip it, knit 1, lifted increase, knit the end stitch, slip the end stitch, knit to the marker, slip the marker, knit 1, increase, knit to the back saddle marker, increase, now this is our third, so I will slip the turn stitch from before. That's our turn stitch right there. I'm going to slip it with leading leg and back, knit into the stitch below, set it over the stitch, snug it up a little bit, slip, grab the float, There's that one. So there's your there's your three buried wrap and turns. Got your back saddle stitches going. When you come to the back saddle marker, you're going to slip it one stitch. See, I have 4. When you start the fading saddle in front, you're going to treat it just like the back saddle, only instead of slipping it 1 stitch, you're going to slip it 2. That's the only difference. And you're starting it quite a bit farther away from the shoulder so that when you get to the shoulder edge, you're going to be done with your increases, with your fading saddle increases. That calculation is a little squidgy, so you'll just have to play with it a little. Did I do my increase there? I did. Okay. Okay. So there we go. This is what it looks like. They really disappear. And my fading saddle is going, and I still have this little tiny bump here that will disappear when you pick it up for crochet. Okay, I'm hoping that's what you needed. If it's not, let me know and I'll do something different.